Rutgers football goes on the road as underdogs and defeats Maryland 31-17 on Saturday night, ending a 3-game losing streak against the Terps and becoming bowl eligible in the 2024 season. Now 6-4, tying the program best 3 Big Ten wins in a season. What a change the last 2 weeks has been since that bye week for Rutgers football. Can't give this program enough credit for what they've done in the face of adversity. And the narrative has changed now, right? October, miserable, 0-4, did incur a lot of injuries, had that bye week, were able to really get things together. I think what I'll first say is the coaching staff, I thought, was such a well-coached game by Shiano and the staff today. Shiraka pressing all the right buttons on offense. The defense, the game plan, decisions made in that game. I mean, let's go to that 4th and 2 was at the Maryland 12, trailing 17-14, early fourth quarter, midway third quarter. That changed the game. They converted that to Demir Miller. Kyle Monungai runs it in. Next play, Rutgers takes the lead, never looks back. Maryland never responded after that play. Rutgers going down. Next drive, they get a 3-and-out by the defense. Then Kyle Monungai runs it. I don't know what. He got it down to the 1. It was like a 75-yard run. KJ Duff, who played well, true freshman, called for the holding. It was the right call, but it really didn't even impact the play. I mean, it was near Monungai running by, but it really, I think Monungai would have run by anyway. So it was a shame that got called back. And this team kept coming. To use Shiano's word, kept chopping. They delivered a masterful drive that resulted in another touchdown. I'm just trying to see how many yards that was. That was 8-play, 71-yard drive. So after that drive starts with Kyle Monungai getting that huge run, called back, could have been a backbreaker. Rutgers, again, only leading 21-17 at this point. Late third quarter. And then the first play of the fourth quarter, Ethan Kalikmanis delivering a perfectly placed ball to Demir Miller right in the corner front of the end zone, running in. It was just a thing of beauty. And to see Rutgers execute at that high of a level on offense in the passing game in this game was really just a pleasure. And this offense has turned a corner. The 4 wide receiver out in the last 2 games has changed things. This offense is more balanced. They're a little bit more unpredictable. Maryland wasn't able, after stacking the box early in the game, they changed that later in the game, and Rutgers was still able to take advantage. That was just such a beautiful pass by Kalikmanis to Demir Miller, made it 28-17. And then the defense on the next possession for Maryland, Jordan Thompson getting the interception off of Shaquan Loyal, who led the team in tackles, 13 tackles, 10 solo, broke up the pass. The pass was basically caught, tackled, wrangled the ball loose. It went up in the air, and Jordan Thompson dove and caught it for an interception. Unbelievable turnover. The only turnover in the game. I forget what the status for Rutgers now with Shiano not turning over the ball, but it's like it's a ridiculous. I think it's 16-1 maybe now with 0 turnovers, and it couldn't have been more timely. Rutgers again takes advantage. They don't score a touchdown, but they go down 7 plays, 44 yards, over 2.5 minutes of clock killed, and then Jay Patel coming on. And I can't tell you, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen his motion was so succinct. He just drilled a 46-yarder, and it looked like nothing. So he's now made 6 in a row. The confidence of this team, the mindset of this team, October, everything was hard. Nothing was going their way. everything was just a slog, and they couldn't get any momentum. And then now the last 2 weeks, this team's mentality, especially in the second half, has just been clicking. And you could see the cohesiveness in this team, each unit, and they're playing for each other, and good things are happening. Let's talk about the offense. Again, not the most prolific performance. I mean, they only had 370 total yards. Maryland had 457. But what a tremendous performance from several standout players. Callie McManus, 20 of 30, 67% completion percentage. It's got to be his highest this season, I think, in like a Big Ten game. 238 yards, 2 touchdowns. Had a touchdown to Ian Strong. Had a touchdown to Demir Miller. Just fantastic stuff from him. Really made some big throws when they needed it. That 4th and 2, again, that changed everything. And that goes to the coaching staff. They gambled when they had to gamble, and it paid off. And, we talked about David Anderson and I in October about there was just some inconsistency with the decision-making of the staff this year, and just kind of forcing things and, not being conservative, but maybe not being conservative in the wrong moments. This game, Rutgers pulled all the right strings. Shiraka, just in terms of how he executed the game plan on offense. The defense, they bent but didn't break. They made some key plays when they had to. Didn't get a ton of pressure earlier in the game. I mean, Billy Edwards threw for 335 yards, 55 pass attempts, 58% completion percentage. So, I mean, he did not, as much as he threw the ball, he did not beat them. They held Felton to, ended up 66 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown. He was frustrated. He was targeted 14 times. Overall, Maryland did what we thought they would do in the receiving game. 225 yards after the catch. Rutgers just 50. But, man, Demir Miller, 8 catches, 107 yards, a touchdown, 11 targets. Ian Strong, 7 catches, 86 yards, a touchdown. Just 10 yards after the catch, 12 targets. KJ Duff, 3 catches, 35 yards. Ben Black had a catch for 7. Manunga had a catch for 3. Overall, 0 drops. Rutgers just executed at a better level in every phase of this game than Maryland. And honestly, they look like a team playing to go to a bowl. They look like a team that needed one more win to clinch bowl eligibility, and they wanted it more. And Maryland now falls to 4-6. They have Iowa and Penn State. They could really snowball. Mike Loxley looked like he was attending his own coaching funeral in the last 5 minutes of that game. He looked like he knew, I blew it. I lost this game. We're not going to be 5-5, and I'm going to get fired. That's honestly the way he looked. I was texting with David about it. Even my wife was like, oh, my God, look at him. He's just inconsolable. And you know what? It's particularly sweet because I always thought that this coaching staff was better than Maryland, Mike Loxley, and Schiano. But Maryland's recruited at a much higher level over the years, and they have whipped Rutgers' tail the last 3 years. And overall, since being in the Big Ten, they've gotten the best of Rutgers quite a bit, 7-3 coming in. So this was a super satisfying victory, not only because they were able to come through and clinch bowl eligibility, but the way they kind of just imposed their will in that second half, and they out-executed Maryland so significantly in flipping that game. Again, Maryland comes out and scores a touchdown to take the lead to start the second half. Minnesota did the same thing last week. Rutgers' ability to fight through adversity 2 weeks in a row. Coming into the game, they lost Tyler Needham for the season now. They lost Abram Wright for the season. So Motoré, 2 offensive linemen, Felter and Needham, Sam Brown, Kenny Fletcher, Konopka, Wesley Bailey, Abram Wright, all out for the year. Guys are still dealing with stuff. Kyle Monunga, let's talk about him now. What a gutty performance from him. 25 carries, 97 yards, 2 touchdowns, just under 4 yards to carry. Had the 3 receiving yards, so 100 all-purpose yards for him. Had that long run taken away. But again, his ability to avoid tackles behind the line of scrimmage and get plus yardage, was so critical in this game once again. And what a stud. I mean, he's been playing with an injury before the bye. Then he had those headshots against USC. Sat out last week for what Greg Schiano said was for his own good. He came back today, and he was a warrior and gave this team stability on offense and in the ground game that they desperately needed. Antoine Raymond just 4 carries, 14 yards, nothing for Benjamin. But Kyle Monungai, stabilizing force. Kyle McManus did have 7 carries, 26 yards. Good for him. He had a 13-yard run. But wow, what a performance from that offense. 0 turnovers, 3 of 3 on 4th down execution, 3 of 3 for 21 points in the red zone. Had the ball over 32 minutes. You know, with the real one negative with Rutgers, they had 8 penalties tonight. That was very uncharacteristic. Believe they were leading the country in fewest penalty yards per game. Before this game, just a sack, just 2 tackles for loss. Did not give up a sack. I mean, let's talk about the offensive line. Would need him out. They started Dante Chin replacing Taj White at left guard, moved White to right tackle, and hard to argue with the results. The offensive line really, there were some carries there in the second half. They were violent. They were, really attacking the Maryland defense. It was one in particular, Antoine Raymond didn't even get, he never went down. And the offensive line just was bludgeoning the Maryland defensive line. But I think you're seeing the offense evolve now. Again, going to that 4 wide receiver set, you're just seeing some more unpredictability. Defense is being a little bit off kilter. And Kyle McManus executing at a high level. You can't say enough in terms of just how he has hung in there all year. And he's really come through. Last 2 weeks now, 5 touchdown passes, 1 interception. He's got 14 touchdowns, just 6 interceptions for the year. And he's been a real leader for this offense. And again, going back to that 4th and 2 on the Maryland 12, could have kicked the field goal, take the points to tie the game. Schiano sent a message to this team, and they responded quite a bit. And it's beautiful to see. And it's just great that with everything, I mean, the narrative has changed in the season now, and you have 2 winnable games to go. Illinois, obviously, 7-3. They beat Michigan State by over 20 today, coming off of that loss in Minnesota the week before, previous week. So, listen, they're in good shape. But they're 7-3, 4-3 in the Big Ten. I mean, Rutgers can tie them and leapfrog them in the standings if they beat them next week. It's senior day at SHI Stadium. And then you go to Michigan State. I mean, they have a chance to run the table and clear out November with 4 straight wins. It's really phenomenal to see the way this team has bounced back. They're still battling injuries, but I think that bye week, just in terms of getting the coaching staff on the same page, I think this program, this coaching staff, this team, they figured out things about themselves that needed to be figured out during that losing streak, meaning they've lost some key guys. They weren't executing at a level in certain situations and certain phases of the game that they expected to, and they really regrouped. I think they looked at themselves in the mirror, and you have to give Greg Schiano credit. You know, he was very boisterous, claiming after that UCLA loss, like, call your shot, don't give up on this program. Well, there's still a ways to go here. You don't want to finish 6-6 now, right? You're 6-4 with 2 games to go. You got to win one of them. And then you clinch your first winning regular season since 2014. You've now clinched back-to-back bowl games for the first time in a decade. But get that regular season winning record. Clinch a winning record for the season. Get a better bowl game. And listen, if they can beat Illinois, that would be a quality win. And then you go to Michigan State with everything on the table to go 8-4. And if you go 8-4 and you get a program record, you finish 5-4 in the Big Ten. I mean, we go back to meeting expectations that we had before the season. Yes, people wanted better than that, but 8-4 is where I think that was the mark to hit to show clear progress. If you showed less than that, it was going to be a disappointment. If you didn't make the bowl, it would be a disaster. They've cleared that hurdle now, and you have a real chance to build on this and not just go 6-6, which is holding serve to last year. I talked to David Anderson about this in the preview. Holding serve was essential. You could not take a step backwards this year. If you hold serve, it's still a disappointment, but perception-wise, with everything this team has been through, to be able to come back and show the real character of this program, it'd be a great thing. And now you have a chance to do even better than that. And that is an amazing thing from where we were at in October. 4-0 in September, 0-4 in October, now 2-0 in November. By the way, I know I'm all over the place here, but Callie McManus on short passing situations, 5 yards or less, 5 of 6, medium passing, 5 to 14 yards, 11 of 16. So 16 of 22, 72% on short to medium passes today. That's outstanding. He was 4 of 8 on deep passing, 15 plus yards. So pretty solid there. Just in terms of this team's ability to just continue to fight and come back. And they just wanted it more than Maryland tonight. And I thought, again, the way this team was prepared, the way they were able to kind of hunker down. I mean, they trailed early in this game. They trailed 3-0. They score a touchdown. Maryland goes down right away and takes the lead back. Rutgers then takes the lead again and goes at halftime. 14-10, surrenders that touchdown to start the half, which is the back and forth, and then boom, Rutgers takes control. And again, 4th and 2 on the 12, doesn't kick the field goal, and they don't run it, and they run a slant to Demir Miller, and they connected, and they got the first down, and then Kyle Monungai put the Maryland defense to sleep on the next carry. Wow. Just a great win for Rutgers football, and a real bounce back here in November, beating Minnesota and Maryland. Now you have Illinois next Saturday, and it's a real opportunity for this team. I mean, this is such a momentum-based season, and you have a real chance here to build some serious momentum going into that finale. And Rutgers now the 9th bowl-eligible team in the Big Ten. But to take a step forward past Maryland is extra sweet. And it's just so great to see this team, these players, all they put into it, to be able to come through like this. It's really a beautiful thing. So certainly a great night in Rutgers football, modern history. Rutgers clinching bowl berth in back-to-back seasons. First time in a decade. Now 3-4 in Big Ten play with a chance to set a program record for a 4th Big Ten win and possibly a 5th. We'll see what happens. But I think the way the offense is evolving and has a more balanced attack, the way the defense, is stepping up and making big plays when it matters most, whether loyal. I mean, Masco had a great deflection in the end zone, pass breakup. He had 2 today. He was second with 7 tackles. Longer Beam had 2 pass breakups. Aaron Lewis, I thought, had 2, but he had a deflection or 2 on that last drive, or one of the last drives of the game. You had, as mentioned, Jordan Thompson getting that interception forced by Loyal. Overall, just, a lot of contributing factors from the defense. Keontae Hamilton played, I thought, relatively well, even though his stats don't show it much. I mean, even Malcolm Ray made a big play at the end of the game. Just a balanced effort from all phases. Complimentary football once again. Not even a 1-score win. It was breathing room there for sure, as Maryland threatened late, but it didn't matter. And Rutgers now 6-4 overall, 3-4 in the Big Ten. Illinois comes to Piscataway. Illinois comes to Piscataway on next Saturday, and should be a heck of a game. I'll have David Anderson here probably early in the week to talk about this win, talk about becoming bowl eligible, and then also we'll preview ahead of Illinois. But overall, I just think the adjustments made since the bye week by the coaching staff, the execution by the players, the energy they've played with, the enthusiasm, the heart, the toughness, all of that has really shown through these last 2 weeks. And that is just a pleasure as a Rutgers fan to see that come through. And a huge step on Saturday night. Thank you so much for listening and watching once again here at the Scarlet Faithful podcast.